Hi, welcome back to the Xplore YouTube channel. So this is the second part for the linked list with respect to Java. Now in this video, we are solely going to focus on functions. In the previous one, I have gone over what a linked list is and a basic overview of it. Right now, we are going to deal with functions which are going to be really helpful with respect to not only your learning purpose, but also with respect to interviews, right? And you can apply them in a program if and when needed. So when I talk about functions, I'm solely talking about inbuilt functions of linked list. Now, how do I actually declare a linked list, right? Now, a linked list can be easily declared as follows. So you simply write linked list, and then let's say I want to have, let's say a string value, right, inside of a linked list. So as I have mentioned, we have a node block representation, right, for a linked list. We have some values here, value 1, value 2, value 3. This could be a number, this could be 10, this could be 11, this could be, let's say 17, and so on. But let's say I want to have the letters of the alphabet. Let's say I want to have A here. Let's say I want to have something as random as Z. I want to have small g, and then so on, right? So how do I declare for that? Well, I have to give the type. Yes, it's very important. I have to give the type of it. So that would look something like this. It's going to be string, and then I'll follow this with the name of the linked list. Let's say my linked list name is letters, right? Followed by new linked list, new linked list. The string representation follows, and then we have a very small bracket. Yeah, this is what it would look like, and this is how I declare an empty linked list whose name is letters. And again, it's going to store something as simple as a string, right? And if you try to store something as let's say you try to store integer, it's going to give you an error because, hey, you have mentioned inside of this I want to have string values. So let's see how can I write it in a program. By the way, you have to import the util package in Java because linked list is inside of this thing. I hope you get my point. So this is how you will be able to do it. Linked list, and followed by, let's say you want to have string. Yeah, string kind of looks good. And then I'll be having the name of it. So letters, then new linked list, string follows, and then we have the brackets, right? So I hope this is very simple. Like, this is nothing but a very simple way to declare a linked list called letters, right? The linked list name is letters. It's very simple. Now let's say I want to add an element to the linked list. How do I do that? So I'll give you a very simple method. If I want to add a value to the linked list, we can use the method or inbuilt function add. So that would look something like letters dot add, and inside of this maybe I can have a string value. Let's say it could be my name, right? Or it could be Xplore, and so on. So for convenience purposes, let's have it as A, right? So we have A here, right? Now this is how I add a value to the linked list. Right now, how is my linked list looking like? So right now at this point, I would say that at this point, can probably comment here, my linked list looks simply A, right? This is what the linked list looks like. So maybe I can represent it in some bracket, right? This is what the linked list would look like. Now what if I want to add another value? That would be letters dot add. Let's say it could be C, right? It could be as simple as C. It's very simple. Now again, my linked list would look something like A comma C. Now what if I say that, okay, I want to add at the very last position in the linked list, right? So I'm saying that, okay, add a value at the last position of the linked list, or you can even say that, hey, I want to add a value at the end of the linked list, right? It's very, very simple. What you have to do is you have to say that, okay, hey, I want to call the function letters dot add last, and then the value, which is I believe, so simply let's say I could have Z, right? This is followed. Now I can say that, hey, this will look something like A, C, and Z. Now notice carefully that the add and the add last kind of working the same way, right? because add is going to add at the very end. Add last is also going to add at the very end. So a very good point to notice, and you can even state that in an interview. And again, it's good to know thing, right? Okay, great. Now, what if I want to add a value at the starting? Yeah, I want to add a value at the starting of the linked list. Then how do I do that? Well, it's very simple. Let us dot add. What will it be? It will be start. Yes, you are absolutely right. So let's say I could have something like an E, right? And this would look something like this right now. So this would be E, A, C, and Z. Quite simple enough, right? Now, what if I say that, hey, I want to add a value at a particular index in the linked list, or you can even say index, or let's say position, right? That would make a lot of sense. Now, let's say I write letters dot add. Let's say I write 2 comma, it could be R, right? Now, what would my linked list look like? Any guesses? You can pause the video, try to think about it, and write it on a piece of paper or notebook if you have it already. So what will this do? It will say that, okay, at the second position, add an R. So 0, 1, and 2. Yes, at this position itself, it's going to add in simply R. So my new linked list would look something like E, A, R will be replaced, and then C and Z will follow. So you notice how R has been added at the very second position or the second index. I hope that kind of makes a lot of sense. Now, this was all about adding the values to the linked list. Now, how do I actually remove the values from the linked list? Well, it's very simple. Now, before even I go ahead with that, I want to give you a way by which you can access the values of the linked list. So accessing the values of the linked list. Well, to access the values of the linked list, firstly, you need to know the length of the linked list. So how to get length of the linked list? It's very simple. So you say int length of the linked list. It's going to be, probably you can say that, hey, linked list name is letters, and the function is very important, dot size. Notice carefully, in case of arrays, to find the length of the arrays, it was, I believe so, it was arrays dot length, right? But in this case, it's dot size followed by a bracket, right? An empty bracket. I hope that kind of makes sense. Now I can simply use a for loop. So that would look I is equivalent to 0. I is less than the length of the linked list, which I have computed in the line number 18, right? Line number 18, I have computed it, right? So I plus plus, that makes sense. Now I can say system dot out dot print, and then let's say to get the value at a particular index inside of a linked list, we write the function letters dot get. Yes, get at which location? Ith location. This is what it would look like, right? Now, what is this going to print? Let's see. What is this going to print? Let's see. So I'll do a multi-line thing here. Now, yeah. So the elements in the linked list are currently E, A, R, C, Z. So what will this print? This will print E followed by a space, because hey, I'm saying that, okay, letters dot get E. So get the position at the element letters dot get the value at the ith index. So I is initially 0. So it's going to get the value at the 0th index, which is E, followed by A, followed by R. But hey, look, there's a space here. So I'm saying that the values will printed as E, A, R, C, and Z. Absolutely perfect and fine, right? This is how you access the values of a linked list. We also, we kind of learned two things here, how to get the length of the linked list here. And I can probably write a comment here as well. How to access it via indexing, right? I hope that kind of makes sense. Now, we are left with one thing, how to remove, right? What if I say that, okay, in my letters, I'm going to add one time, right? I'm going to just add one more time. Let's say I'm going to add something like A, right? I'm going to add something like an A. So what would the linked list look like right now? It would be E, A, R, C, Z, and followed by A, right? Now, what if I say that, okay, hey, I want to remove A. What would be the function? It's very, very simple and trivial. I can simply say letters dot remove. Yes, letters dot remove A. Now, will this remove the very first A, which is at the first index 0, 1, or will it remove the last A? That's the question, right? Now, this is going to be surprisingly removes the first occurrence of A, right? So right now, my linked list is nothing but going to look like E, that A has been removed. So R, C, Z, and A. I hope that makes sense. Notice carefully, this A is not removed. The very first occurrence of A has been removed. Now, what if I say that, okay, I want to remove from a particular index, right? I want to remove from a particular index or position, right? Now, index or position, so that should be or position. That's absolutely my bad. Great. Now, how do I do that? Well, I say let us dot remove. Instead of having the value here, I'm going to give the position. Let's say I want to remove C, right? So how do I do that? 0, 1, 2. So the index I'll provide here is 2. And that's very simple. Now, my linked list would look something like E, R, C will be removed, Z and A, right? I hope so. This is very trivial and very simple thing, right? We are studying right now. What if I say that, okay, I want to remove the very last value here, right, inside of the linked list. So I'm going to say remove the last value in the linked list. And after this, we are going to see remove the first value in the linked list. So how do I do that? How do I achieve this? It's again very, very simple. I think so you might have already figured out. It will be let us dot remove. Since this is last, I'm going to write last, right? And do I actually need to provide any value here? Do I need to provide any value? No, I don't need to provide any value because it's going to remove forcefully from the last, whatever the value is. I don't care. It's going to remove from the last. So right now, what will the linked list look like? It will look something like E, R, and Z. I hope that makes sense. Now again, if I want to remove the very first value, that would be let us dot remove first. I hope that makes sense. Again, I don't need to be having any value. No, I don't need to be having any value here. No, I don't need to be having any value. So what would the linked list look like? It's E is being removed. So R and Z is the final linked list. Now, what if I say that, okay, I want to remove all the contents of the linked list, right? So I want to make sure that, hey, the linked list is right now empty. So the linked list, I want to make sure that my linked list is this thing, right? I want to make sure my linked list is looking something like this. Well, there's a very beautiful small function, which is let us dot clear. After this, what will happen is the linked list would be probably empty. So you can see R and Z kind of disappeared, right? That's what I'll try to say here. Okay, so I hope so this is kind of useful. These are the few things which you have to take care of. And again, I'll try to make sure that this file is available to you. If not, if that's not the case, again, this video is definitely available to you. You can maybe watch this in 2x or 0.5x speed and try to note this down in a piece of paper or your favorite notebook, right? So if this video was informational and helpful to you, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you.